All right, look live, Jarvis. It's playtime.
Good evening, folks. It is Friday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, and you know what time it is. It is time for Wrestling Gold Friday night. Hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully, everybody had a good week, but let's get the fun started. This, of course, is where we talk about the good old days of professional wrestling. Back when wrestling was wrestling and wrestling was real, because damn it, it is still real to us. So let's crank up the intro and get the show started.
What do you want to talk about?
Wrestling! And here!
Wrestling?
Why?
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling.
Why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Why not? Why not?
It's fake.
Fake? What the hell are you talking about? Fake? It's not fake.
Fake.
Wrestling's not fake!
Okay, wrestling.
Good evening, folks. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Wrestling Gold Friday night. Like I said, where we talk about the good old days of professional wrestling, back when wrestling was wrestling and wrestling was real, because damn it, it is still real to us. And yes, I am live and in living color. So if you're watching, join me in the chat, share some memories, talk some glory. Talk about the glory days of professional wrestling. If I can spit it out. Sorry, I got something in my eye. I think I put myself in the eye while ago. But anyway, hopefully everybody had a good week. Hopefully not too many of you have to work this weekend. So, kind of an anniversary day for me today. On this date, well, man, come on now. So yeah, on this date, a few years ago, I was drunk. The day my mom got out of prison. And I went to pick her up in the rain. But before I can get to the station in my pickup truck, she got run over by a damned old train. Anyway, if you know what that song is from, let me know in the chat. And of course, if you're not watching this live, hit me up in the comments. Again, share some memories or just say hello. Let me know that you're there and you watched it and enjoyed it. All that good stuff. I'll spit it out in a minute, but yes, that's total BS. If you know like I said, if you know where that song is from, let me know in the comments and in the chat. Chat's right there. Oh yeah. So here's my laptop. Here's the chat right there. But of course, speaking of getting drunk, no, I'm not going to get drunk. If this is your first time watching, this is what we do. We get on here and salute all the hardworking men and women who worked hard this weekend and who are going to be working hard this weekend. Give a toast to them. Of course, again, in the chat, in the comments, let me know what you're drinking tonight. For me, it is beer. Since they don't sponsor me, should I advertise it? Yes. I mean, you can tell. Anybody who drinks beer knows what this is. Miller High Life. So, cheers. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's been long enough. But yeah, controversial figure, I guess you can call it now. Yeah, he has some controversial material. Just for shock value, his words, not mine. But yeah, singer songwriter David Allan Coe passed away this past week. Actually, on the Bash 1986, when Dusty Rhodes defeated Ric Flair to win his third world title, David Allan Coe was in the ring celebrating with Dusty Rhodes and everybody else. He's that kind of tall, long haired dude. But yeah, outlaw country singer. I think he did some time in prison. I don't know his full biography. Let's see. I guess I should. This ain't the country western show, man. We want to talk about wrestling. Let's see. Let's see. So yeah, early in his life, spent some time in prison. He was incarcerated in Ohio State Penitentiary from 1963 to 1967. Let's see. Oops, I don't want to see it. Da, 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 da. Hey, he didn't pay his taxes at one time, but don't really say why he went to prison. But I guess we can look at, like I said, I'm pretty sure you folks out there are like, this ain't the country western show, man. We want to talk about professional wrestling. And yes, that's what we are. We are going to do starting right now. Let's get to it. Let me find my little notes here. Click on this button right here. All right. So every Friday we start off with discussing today in wrestling history. Of course, today is May 1st, 2026. Also, we do have a watch along. Going to watch an episode of Pro Wrestling This Week, hosted by Gordon Soley and Joe Penasino. I know I mentioned that show a few times, but I guess, why not? We'll watch an episode of that. But first things first, today in wrestling history. There we go. On this date in 1975, UWA Mexico in Mexico City, El Toreo drawing 27,500 people. Damn, that's a hell of a house. Dr. Wagner and El Halcon defeated the Twin Devils in the final of a losers advance mass versus mass tournament. So the Twin Devils, they had to unmask, and of course everybody's wanting the app. But on this date in 1976, the Masked Strangler, who was portrayed by Guy Mitchell, wins the WWA title from Pepper Gomez in Indianapolis, Indiana. Also on the show, Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher win their 6th WWA Tag Team Championship over Ox Baker and Chuck Connor. Of course, Chuck Connor grew up to become Big John Studd. On this date in 1977, Paul Jones, yes, he was a wrestler, then became a manager of the Paul Jones Army and the Powers of Pain. He defeated Dick Slater for the Georgia title. Dick Slater, synonymous as being a legit tough guy. Let's see, the month of May not fare too well for Mr. Dick Slater. On this date in 1980, Jumbo Tsuruta wins the annual All Japan Champions Carnival Tournament. defeating Dick Slater in the finals of that tournament. See, not a good month for Dick Slater. On this date in 1981, Harley Race regains the NWA World Heavyweight Championship for the sixth time by defeating Tommy Rich in Gainesville, Georgia. 3 days earlier, Tommy Rich defeated Harley Race in Augusta, Georgia. And according to, excuse me, whoops. Come on. And according to, whoops, what the? There we go. And according to Harley Race's shoot interview, he told Jim Barnett, it's like, yeah, I'll do it, but it ain't going to be for a long, long time. So definitely wouldn't. 3 days. He said, that's good enough, Tommy. Let me have my belt back. Got to go home now. Also on this date in 1981, Gene and Ole Anderson defeated Paul Jones and the Masked Superstar. Of course, Masked Superstar is Bill Eadie, Acts of Demolition, now a WWE Hall of Famer, for the NWA World Tag Team titles. Of course, Gene and Ole Anderson. Not sure how many times they held those belts at this time. I don't say so. But yeah, this tag team champ is Georgia, Carolinas, you name it. Also on this date in 1981, the Super Destroyer, who was Scott Irwin, defeated Jimmy Garvin for the Louisiana title in Shreveport, Louisiana. And lastly, on this date in 1981, Don Morocco defeated Manny Fernandez in Orlando, Florida for the Florida Television Championship. Yeah, that's a young Manny Fernandez right there. A young bull daddy. On this date in 1983, the Human Tornado was born. So happy birthday, Human Tornado. Watched a few of his matches for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and I guess that are Battle of Los Angeles tournaments and stuff like that. High flyer, flippy guy, pretty decent though. Not sure. I think if I read correctly, I think they say he's semi-retired. All right. On this date in 1986, Saturday night's main event, episode 6, took place on May 1st, 1986, from Providence, Rhode Island, at the Providence Civic Center. It aired on May 3rd. The show aired on NBC and drew a 9.3 rating. Don't know how many millions of people that equates to. 9.3. That's just the way they did things back in those days. On this event, Jake Roberts was scheduled to meet Ricky Steamboat, but he attacked him, took him out with his finisher, the DDT, on the concrete floor prior to the match, helping set up a feud that continued through the summer and early fall. Yes, they had like he had his, what you call it, Armored Dragon, whatever. Ricky Steamboat did. Of course, Jake had his Python. He would put the Python on Ricky Steamboat at this point. Apparently, it really knocked out Ricky Steamboat. I think this is according to Jake Roberts' interview. He said, "Hey, I do what I can. You sure you want to do this? Straight to the concrete floor. You don't want the mat there." And Steamboat's like, "Yeah, I think I can block it." And of course he didn't do a good enough job of blocking it, so his head really did thump the concrete, knocked him out. So when you did see him pretty much dragging Steamboat into the ring, that was 100% dead weight right there. Hulk Hogan and the Junkyard Dog with the Haiti Kid defeated Terry Funk and Hoss Funk with Jimmy Hart. Of course, Hoss Funk is Dory Funk Jr. King Kong Bundy defeated Uncle Elmer. Adrian Adonis with Jimmy Hart defeated Paul Orndorff by disqualification. And the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid with Captain Lou Albano defeated Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik, who is managed by Freddie Blassie, in a 2 out of 3 falls match, retaining the WWF Tag Team Championship. So yes, this is the Saturday night's main event after WrestleMania 2. And finally, on this date in 1995, in Memphis, Tennessee, PG-13 JC Ice and Wolfie D defeated The Gambler and Brickhouse Brown to win the USWA Tag Team titles. Also on that card, Jerry Lawler defeated Razor Ramon Scott Hall to win the USWA Unified World title. I wonder how many times he kept it. I think the NWA/AWA Southern title, I think Jerry Lawler, I think they say he won it like 18 times or something like that. But let me flash back here. But yeah, I do remember this. And at this time, what I do remember about this time right here is that Superstars of Wrestling, the Channel 36 program, did not air WWF programming. Sometimes you catch it on the afternoons and on Saturdays, but some reason I think sometimes it would kind of coincide with NWA, and I was more of an NWA fan and watched some WWF, but I just remember they showed highlights of WrestleMania 2 and it's like, oh, we got to get this, but they wind up showing WrestleMania 2 on Showtime, and my brother wound up having Showtime, the cable channel, and he was gracious enough to record it for me. So he recorded it for me, and I probably watched WrestleMania 2 ungodly amount of times. So I think I did wear that tape out, but I do have a classic wrestling reminiscing of WrestleMania 2 if you want to check it out. Of course, do that after this. But during this time in the USWA, I didn't watch much USWA. Let's see. I was about to graduate high school. Was it not? Yep. I was about to graduate high school here, and there was no Superstars of Wrestling no more. I think I had a buddy had a big satellite, so every now and then they would get the Memphis feed, so I got to see a little bit of that. I think they had the satellite at the time. Might have been like a year or two after that, or it might have been a little bit before that. But yeah. So, and this is a time where the WWF. I do know the WWF or Vince McMahon was sending some of the wrestlers to Memphis, kind of a Memphis, like a Vince McMahon versus Memphis feud, until some controversy about Jerry Lawler came out at the time. Then temporarily the WWF pulled away, then they reconciled, and Jerry Lawler wound up starting to work for the WWF, like at this time right here. And I think that the USWA went, basically went out of business, got sold, I guess. Then they wound up changing it to Memphis Pro. I don't know if anybody remembers that time. If you do, if my timeline's wrong, let me know. But when it was Memphis Pro, that's when Memphis was a what do you call it? Like a kind of like NXT is a training center for developmental territory for. I said I'd get it out in a minute. Developmental territory for the WWF at the time. They didn't change it to E till much later. And that does it for today in wrestling history. Yeah, I remember Brookhouse Brown. Supposedly he didn't spend too much time in the gym, but you couldn't tell because the dude kept in pretty good shape, lean, cut. I remember his humor was pretty funny. He was talking about, let me clean it up a little bit. He was talking about, yeah, sometimes I'll be late with the shows, and you know what? I'll be in a hotel or something like that. I'll be with a girl, and I look at the clock. Oh, I need to get up, get ready for the show. But this woman, she's giving me really, really good attention, and he just couldn't leave. So that's the reason he said that's the reason he no showed a lot of times. But yeah, if you find Brickhouse Brown shooting review, it's pretty entertaining. Probably nothing for kids to watch, maybe. But pretty funny. Colorful language. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break and come back with our watch along. So enjoy these words from my sponsor. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Ray here, your boy with a cornbread accent. If you made it this far in the video, you're having fun. You folks know what to do. Everybody says this, so let's go through the whole routine. If you enjoy it, click on that like button. Also, leave me a comment. Give me your opinions on anything I talk about tonight. Ask questions, or just drop a friendly hello. That's always cool as well. Also, if you enjoy listening to a fan, just like you folks at home, talk about the sport of professional wrestling, be a champ, click on that subscribe button. Now, back to our program. So yes, this is Pro Wrestling This Week, hosted by Gordon Soley and Joe Pensino from April 18th, 1987. Going to share the link in the comments. The link is also in the description below the video. So check it out. Thank you to Anthony the Great 72 for posting this video. Hope you don't mind, but hey, you might get a few views for your video here for doing this. Yeah, I you know. Cheers. So yeah, this is one of those programs that came on Saturday mornings on WATL 36. And it kind of like a news program. It tells you what's going on in just about every territory, and run down some cards, dates coming up to where different territories were having shows at the time. First time I seen Japan Wrestling was on this show. The only time I seen Portland Wrestling was on this show as well. And Calgary territory was need to try to find one. They used to have sometimes all Japan women's matches on here, and I was very impressed with them at the time. I was like, holy cow, these women are kicking each other's butts. Come on, I was 10, 11 years old. I couldn't say ass yet. I'd get a whooping for that. So, but yeah, it shows some pretty cool stuff. So, and like I said, it was like a weekly kind of news thing. I was actually thinking about one time doing a show like this, but for like the independent territory or independent promotions in Georgia. But I as you can see, I am a solo act. I have no money to pay anybody, and that will be a whole lot. A whole lot to watch that I don't really have time for. Um, especially first, especially that first couple of shows I would try to do because I'll see if I can find their like video on YouTube and stuff like that. Watch the whole thing, then go to try to email or DM all these promoters in their on social media or Facebook or like I said, or email them and then try to get permission from basically the first route when I was thinking about doing this was record it, get all the matches I can in order and highlight, a good match. Basically, not show the whole thing, but show like the end of it. Because if you watch anything, you can easily pick up the main feud they're trying to highlight. So especially if especially if they had commentary, you should be able to easily pick up of the main storyline or whatever they're trying to highlight. So I was going to put one together, send one to each promoter, and said, "This is a complete video I just made. I haven't put it on YouTube yet. Wonder if I have your permission to do it to kind of help promote, your product and stuff like that." That's basically all I'll be doing. And the problem would have been if I did start getting monetized, then they probably want to. I hate to sound cheap. They'll want to cut for maybe a minute of a match and stuff like that. Even though I'm kind of like promoting their stuff. So, uh, so there, yeah, I'm like while I was thinking about, it, I was foreshadowing a lot. It's like, yeah, it being a kind of a one man show here, that would be kind of hard to do unless I did get the help from the promoter. Say, hey, you know, here's one of our main event angles. Could you highlight this? And here's where we're going. Here's our next few dates, or the dates where we'll be at this month, and or we'll have shows at our facility this month. So unless they did that, and I don't know, it'll be. I I think Joe Pensino one time said even during his Superstars of Wrestling, it was hard to get kind of cooperation from a lot of promoters and stuff like that. But anyway, I was thinking about if I have time, I might try it one time. So yeah, there's my idea. If you live in Georgia, let me know in the comments. Would you be interested in seeing something like that? If you're a promoter in Georgia or know a promoter in Georgia, would like to um, kind of cooperate without me having to give them money. I hate to sound cheap, but yeah, and it would be kind of helping them out, kind of highlighting stuff. But that's my idea. If y'all dig it and talk me into it, I'll try it, see what happens. But uh, if not, you know, I'll think about it later on down the road when I do can make time and all that good stuff. Well, I could probably figure out a way to make time, I guess, if that makes sense. But anyway, yes, so this is Pro Wrestling This Week from April 18, 1987. Yes, I was 11 years old. Yes, I am that old. Do I look that old? Of course I do. So anyway, going to do the countdown here. And when I say press play, you know what to do. Press play. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play now. Yes, that's it. That is a totally 80s music. If you know that song, hit me up in the comments or in the chat. Rest in peace, both Gorn Soley and Joe Pennacino. Yes, Brad and Bart Benton, they were twins. So they're saying this is the Mac Classic of the week. Man, that's a tiny ring. Looks like a tiny ring. But yeah, we didn't watch a lot of Central States at the time. Well, the Twins are eliminated. Why are they calling this a Mac Classic? So yeah, that is a young Mari Jannetty in there. This is before he was a midnight rocker. Uh-oh. He's going to shake his hand and turn on him. Yeah, sure, let's split it. Now, sometimes baby faces will to split it, but come on, it's Bulldog Bob Brown. He's going to turn his back, and there he goes. Oh, that dude's going to get on top rope and do. Oh, God, God dang. Oh, you sloppy old peon. God dang, this pile driver on face first. But yeah, that was definitely Marty Jannetty before he became a midnight rocker. Hell, it was before he became an uptown boy. Tommy Lane, who was a rock roll RPM, um, was called Tommy Rogers in Central States, and him and Marty Jannetty were a tag team called the Uptown Boys. See, there you go. And I think that sound off section was hosted by Bonnie Blackstone. P.O. Box 54556, Atlanta, Georgia 30308. And yes, a lot of these TV studios and stuff like that, they had P.O. boxes, not the actual address to the building. So yes, Brian Diaz was the childhood friend of Kerry Von Erich, turned against the Von Erichs at this time, and teamed with Al Madrill. And of course, the Fantastics is Tommy Rogers, not Tommy Lane, the real Tommy Rogers, and Bobby Fulton. They were kind of a copy of the Fabulous Ones. They wore the coats and the bow ties. Came out to ZZ Top's or two ZZ Top songs. One of them being Sharp Dressed Man, of course, and the other one being Give Me All Your Lovin'. And he's about to lose control of this. Going to call for a disqualification. See how that referee's like trying to like really getting into here, trying to. It's like, why are you backing me off? You've been letting them double team up my buddy. And he's gonna wind up calling a double disqualification here. Yep, there it is. See, that's funny because Lewis is talking about how Tommy Lane was called Tommy Rogers, and he wound up losing the title to. But yeah, that's Mike Davis, the taller one. Tommy Lane is the shorter one. And Gary Hart, the manager there. I don't think he managed him here, but people don't talk about how good Gary Hart was as a manager. I always thought Gary Hart was a pretty good man. I mean, he's a hated manager, yeah, but once you start kind of watching in different outlook, you really do appreciate he was actually a pretty good manager. Wasn't just a person standing there to give you distractions or gimmicks or anything like that, just to. So yes, Deep South here. It was a promotion that was ran by Jody Hamilton, the assassin. And of course, this must be definitely before Southern Championship Wrestling started by Crusher Blackwell and Joe Penasino. And Johnny Rich, by the way, is the legit cousin of Tommy Rich. Doing commentary right there is Rock Hunter, Joe Penasino, and Nick Patrick. Of course, Nick Patrick is the son of Jody Hamilton, the assassin. God, hooked a leg there, brother. But yeah, Rock Hunter was a manager back in the Georgia territories and a few other territories, I think. But definitely in Georgia, I think he was a manager in All South. Throws the baby powder in Mike Golden's eyes. Schoolboy roll, and that's it. So you got Kevin Von Erich, Spike Huber, and Savannah Jack. Continental, definitely one of my favorite promotions at the time. It was the Pensacola portion of Southeast Championship Wrestling until it became the main office of Southeastern Championship Wrestling after the Knoxville territory, the Knoxville Wars happened. But then they, thought they'd be okay. We need to be more. Don't sound so regional, so they changed it to Continental Championship Wrestling. So yeah, it's a double ring, triple chance battle royal. So who we got in there? We got the Nightmares, Danny Davis and Ken Wayne. I think that's Buddy Landell in there. Yep. Buddy Landell got eliminated by Miss Wrestling 2. Yeah, I guess Wendell Cooley's out of it, so Rip Rogers is in there. Okay, so the best guys are the. So you got the show. So you got the Shoguns 1 and 2. I forgot who the Shoguns were. Yeah, Tom Pritchard, the good doctor. And Buddy Landell interferes. And you talking about somebody who this full of potential, but unfortunately, substance abuse kind of took it away. Buddy Landell was so freaking good. And I think I said this before on another live stream that, you know, Matt Riddle is today's version of Buddy Landell. So much potential, be it, lacing up main event pitcher and this substance abuse and everything kind of maybe ego too got in the way. There's Manum TA. Bill Apter. Yes, I had that had I think Hulk Hogan #1, Ric Flair the NWA World Champion, Ricky Steamboat, Nikita Koloff, Randy Savage, Barry Windham, Nick Botwinkle, Kevin Von Erich, Ted DiBiase, and Lex Luger. So I think Nick Botwinkle's champion at the time. And you got Kurt Hennig, Larry Zbyszko, Jimmy Stuka was there, De Beers, DJ Peterson, another guy who was decent, Austin Idol, Kevin Kelly, Leon White, Van Vader, and Greg Gagne. Yes, I do remember this because Abza left. I guess after the incident, he did leave World Class and went to the UWF and was and went to the UWF. It was the UWF at the time and wrestled a few matches and all of a sudden kind of disappeared. Then he came back and they discussed it on the show about his incident on the airplane. So it wasn't a secret at that time of what Chris Adams did on the airplane. He got in a altercation on the airplane. Now that's a show I wish somebody had on film somehow. But yeah, this is when Chris came back. Him and Terry Taylor were the UWF Tag Team Champions. But yeah, they had a joint show at the Omni of they actually had a couple of them. One was UWF and Deep South. A joint show at the Omni. Because people were like, hey, people in Atlanta was seeing this on WATL Channel 36, and they were like, we'd like to see UWF. But then they had a joint NWA, Jim Crockett Promotions and UWF. Then that kind of started the ball rolling about UWF getting sold to Jim Crockett. Of course, this is at that time too. That's when um, unfortunately, they had a great product on TV and everything. It's just the oil states at the time were dry. People losing jobs, people wasn't going to entertainment shows. All entertainment kind of just disappeared, and no concerts or anything like that. And that's one of the reasons that is the reason Jim or Bill Watts had to sell to Jim Crockett Promotions. But yes, that's Mike George, and his partner is Mike Boyette. uh, Mike Boyette, special at this time was harboring a long losing streak. He couldn't buy a win, but he wrestled, I think, California territories and other territories as Mike the Hippie Boyette. So you kind of see right there, try and plant a little bit of seed of Terry Taylor turning heel, because soon after I think it was at the Omni show, or at least a show or two after that, Terry Taylor did turn against Chris Adams. Yeah, spoiler alert, that the match they had in the Omni, Sting and Steiner did defeat Chris Adams and Terry Taylor. Yes, that's prime Michael Hayes right there. So yeah, definitely tail end of UWF. I remember Freebirds did, I guess, turn babyface and started feuding with Skandar Akbar and Devastation Incorporated. So yeah, Magnum and Ron Garvin lost to the Road Warriors in the first one. So yeah, this is Yeah, I remember they showing highlights of that on World Championship Wrestling and NWA Pro, NWA Worldwide Wrestling. Yes, TNT. TNT, of course, is Savio Vega. And I'm not even going to try to understand what the commentator's saying. He whips Domingo in and gives him a big chop. Oh, he's got the clutch on him. He's got the Cobra on him. And I think that's going to be it for the Hammerneger. Yeah, this is one. Yeah, like you said, it was Tommy Rich and Austin Olive versus Jerry Lawler, but Jerry Lawler, like every other week, would bring a new partner in. And yes, so Bam Bam Bigelow at this time, they probably year and a half maybe. The Beast from the East, but had like a lot of hype brung by him because he's look how big he is. Real big, real agile, was able to throw drop kicks and all that good stuff. That's a big ass bell. Surprised Tommy's not bleeding right now. So I know this is kind of just trivial right here, but Tommy here's wearing the long tights with the lightning bolts, which is the same ones that the Steve Kern and Stan Lane will wear as the Fabulous Ones. Fabulous Ones went to AWA, so they're like, oh, we're gonna have new Fabulous Ones, and they teamed up Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert to be that new Fabulous Ones. Well, that kind of went over like a fart in church. The original Fabulous Ones did come back. Rich and Gilbert kept teaming together, but they sort of just silently dropped the new Fabulous One thing and just continued teaming as Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert until they split up, feuded with each other. So of course, this is how Austin Iowa and Tommy Rich injured Jerry Lawler by posting him. See, yeah, back then it was an injury angle. Now it'll be just a regular spot. One. See, yes, this is a Texas death match. That's what happens. You get pinned, then you get the 10 count. And if you can't answer the 10 count, that's when you lose the match. That's how a Texas death match is supposed to work. Oh, Dynamite Pat Brady. Couldn't tell you much about Dynamite Pat Brady. Art Cruz, I guess had a pretty good runs in Central States and Memphis, or not Memphis, but Portland. But UWF Mid South, he was a enhancement talent. Oh, Matt Brady, not Pat Brady. My bad. Then again, I wonder if that's Johnny Smith. Is it Pat Brady or Matt Brady? So I don't think. So no, that wasn't This isn't Johnny Smith. You know, he wrestles kind of like a Canadian dude. And he gets the dates for the WWF on tour. Worcester, Massachusetts, April 23rd, 24th, New Haven, Connecticut, Buffalo, New York on the 25th. Masafuji. So yeah, the original Dream Team of the WWF, I guess, was Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. Then, of course, Beefcake turned babyface, and now the new Dream Team consists of Dino Bravo and Greg Valentine. And I think Johnny V wound up going back to the AWA and managed the Destruction Crew, Wayne Bloom, and Mike Enos. Oh, Rick Hunter and S.T. Jones. Oh, yeah, it's kind of funny. A move like that you thought or at least that clothesline from Bret Hart, how he delivered it looked so cool back in the day. And yes, that's not the like Nightmare Danny Davis. That's the evil referee Danny Davis. And here comes the British Bulldogs with Matilda. And during this time too, this is when Dynamite was having major like back issues. Joe Barrera. Yeah, I remember this freaking guy. I was like, "The hell is this guy?" Yeah, this guy didn't last long. Mm. So Boris Zukov was one time Private Jim Nelson, I do believe. Uh, part of Sergeant Slaughter's Corps. Him and Don Kernodle. Then I guess like, well, I'm not going to be part of Sergeant Slaughter's crew, so I guess I'll become a Russian. Well, looked like he was doing Ivan Koloff's move. Is that Nacho? Like, I guess his move was a claw. Poor Nacho. That's Nacho Libre. It kind of looked like Jack White. Or Jack Black, excuse me. And of course, this one thing they did, they announced the Wrestler of the Week. Yeah, that was that Porsche. I mean, I think they said if he wasn't as big as he was, he probably would have not lived in that in that accident. But that's what kind of sucks during that time too. Is like they kept teasing and saying that yeah he's on the road to coming back, but he never did come back. So yeah, that's basically all that show was. It was just kind of
So long from the beach state
whoops,
of Georgia.
not yet. It was it was a new, kind of like a news program, magazine show, as he called it, kind of just highlighting stuff that's been happening in different territories. And they would do it like a Matt Classic as well. And most time it would be like really old stuff from like the black and white era, like a Tony Rocca era, Buddy Rogers era type deals. But this week they just show something from Central States from I would imagine 83, 84, whenever Marty Jannetty started. But so yeah, I mean, like I said before, this is how I did see Japan, anything women's or men's, Portland, Oregon, Calgary stuff. They already had a slot for the Puerto Rico territory on the regular Superstars Wrestling. That easily was the last thing they showed, was Puerto Rican TV program. But yeah, kind of not sure why they did that at the time. Even Magnum himself would get on there and say, yeah, I'm aiming to coming back, but then later on it's like, nah, you're not coming back, dude. And you kind of, I guess there's things you didn't notice then, you do notice now, like when you see like the old video of Magnum TA doing commentary after the accident, you see that, that one arm was just not functioning, I guess, lack of a better word. But other than that, it's like, kind of like, oh, okay, it's 1987. Okay, is he coming back in 88? Then it's like, no, never did. But kind of wish they just told the kind of told the fans the truth. Said this pretty much ended Magnum TA's wrestling career. But it wasn't just this show. I mean, on the NWA programs at the time, and I think it was probably around 88, 89, I think they just quit saying that. And let him do commentary. I think he tried to book for a little bit, but I don't think his heart was kind of into it. He's kind of still a little bit. It's like, okay, I'm supposed to be in a spot that I'm booking people to, have right now, and somewhere in that tone, it kind of is like, what better is just kind of saddened by it. But again, that's probably one of the biggest what ifs in pro wrestling. What if Magnum TA didn't get in that car accident? He definitely been a world champion and all that. And I think even his Dark Side of the Ring, I think he did kind of mention that, yeah, I was planning on this wrestling until I was about 45 anyway. 40 or 45, I can't remember which one. But like I said, I got to see highlights, a lot of cool stuff at the time on this. So yeah, I do recommend going back, watching some of these, get your wrestling news. And of course, this was, kayfabe era. This wasn't, exposing the business or, okay, soon this wrestler's going to come down. Even the magazines, they, would announce them as, after the accident, called Magnum TA, Terry Allen, Gordon Solie, of course, said his name. But other than that, I think one time on Georgia Championship Wrestling, he announced Dusty Rhodes by his real name, Virgil Runnels Jr., a.k.a. Dusty Rhodes. So I was like, oh, the vodka hidden or something like that. I don't think you should be doing that, Gordon, but it is what it was. But so yeah, and when I was talking about doing my own thing, it's like, yeah, I wasn't going to be breaking kayfabe. I'll just be highlighting matches and stuff like that. Wasn't going to be like, yes, here's this guy, his real name is this, and they're really good friends and blah blah blah, and nothing like that. It would just be kind of 1980s fans perspective, like, yeah, kind of like these guys, this, here's the highlights. Yeah, maybe he'll get them next time or whatever. But anyways, looks like it might be an early night for me. And I am getting a bit hungry. Going to have a busy week next week. And like I said, next week is episode 100. and going to show one of the shows from the Omni. Forgot which one, but I'll announce that later on this week, and do my little advertisement for anything, all of that. So, but yeah, that does it for me this evening. Appreciate everybody's watching. Like I said, hit me up in the comments, because if you didn't watch this live, just hit me up there. Any memories? Did you watch this program on a weekly basis at the time? Or you're a young fan, like, wow, this is kind of points me in some directions of some promotions to watch at the time, for the time. Yeah, definitely. If you like the blood gut stuff, Puerto Rico, this action packed, bell to bell. UWF was good for that. WWF was WWF, kind of cartoony. Yeah, you kind of did see Demolition right there to just give a promo, announcing that Fuji's their manager, and yes, that is Barry Darsow and Bill Eadie, talked about earlier, and they are Hall of Famers now. So that's, but yeah, they were, to me, and it seemed like they were, even in the like the Bill After magazines, which you see him earlier too, he's actually still kicking. Congratulations to him. But the Pro Wrestling Illustrated and stuff like that, I distinctly remember that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this, because that's one thing that did not keep a secret, that Vince McMahon did own the WWF, even though they really didn't say that on TV. Those magazines definitely didn't, keep that a secret. But I think I remember when Demolition first debuted, and they're like, well, I guess, Vince McMahon couldn't get the Road Warriors, so he had to make his own Road Warriors. And so, even though they had a little bit different style and stuff like that, they kind of seemed to be somewhat of a Road Warrior copycat. Even to me, it's like, even though, like I said, they're totally different. One was wearing like the S&M stuff the whole time. Road Warriors had their spikes and stuff like that, but sometimes they wouldn't even have them. Sometimes maybe just a collar and that one vest Road Warrior Hawk had looked freaking awesome before they did the shoulder pads. But should try and find a picture of that maybe next week. But yeah, even though, yeah, Demolition kept their hair the way it is, and Road Warriors did their hair, gave each other, funky haircuts and the makeup. I don't know. I just always thought the Road Warriors was cooler. Take away the copycat stuff, I thought the Road Warriors were cooler. So yeah, in the chat, let me know who was cooler to you, Demolition or the Road Warriors. But anyway, that does it for me this evening. Hope you folks have a great weekend. Hope you folks have a good one. Take it easy. And until next time.
So long from the peach state of Georgia.
Ronald Ray here saying thank you for checking out my video. If you don't mind, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and share this video with family and friends. I would also appreciate it if you would subscribe to RP2 Vision, where I cover the sport of professional wrestling from yesterday to today. Now don't forget to click the notification bell as well, so you'll be notified when my other weekly content is available, like Wrestling Trivia Tuesday, WWE Raw Recap, and AEW Dynamite Recap. I also have 2 live streams. Every Thursday at 8 p.m., it's Spot Show Live Stream, where I discuss the latest news in professional wrestling. And on Friday nights at 8 o'clock p.m., it's Wrestling Gold Friday Night, where I discuss the good old days of professional wrestling. When wrestling was wrestling, wrestling was real because it's still real to us. Folks, have a good one and take it easy.